What's up guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Homegrown Career Mode. This is episode number 30, and we start today's episode with player training, or as you can see, Archie Cook's now hit 78 overall. You gotta love that. The development of Cook from the first two seasons has been so fun, because he came out of the academy, we really like, look at this guy. He's tall, he's strong, and quick as well due to the training, and now his defensive stats are really good as well. And for the first game of today's episode, we take on Admiral Vaca in the penultimate match of the Europa League group stage. Of course, 4 games in, as we know after our victory over Rosenborg in the last episode, we've already guaranteed qualification to the knockout stages of the Europa League. However, we still need at least one more win from our final 2 games to guarantee top spot, otherwise we could finish in second place. However, heading into this game, Admiral Vaca, who'd only picked up 1 point so far out of the 4 games they've faced in the group, they only scored 1 goal, I think it was in the group as well. They got a draw against Olympiacos in match day 4, and 4 minutes into match day 5, they take a shock lead here away at St Mary's. 1-0 is the Austrian side going front. We feel the completely weakened side for the game, making it through to knockout stages already. First or second, not really fussed either way, just glad to be going through. But right from the throw in there, they quickly moved the ball forward, a nice finish from range, and Angus Gunn had no chance. So 1-0 down, Admiral Vaca take a shock lead, and of course for them, in order to have any chance of making the top 2, they had to win this game and also win match day 6 as well. So they knew it was desperation time, got to win the final 2, otherwise they're going home. We tried to respond, but unfortunately we're coming up against goalkeeper in great form, and then this shot from Harrison Reed just past the half an hour went wide in the post and behind for a goal kick. We were looking the better team though in the first half despite trailing early, and with 6 minutes to go before the break, Sam Gallagher steps around 1, finds Andrew Sermon, who plays it into Nathan Dyer. He stops, he turns, he shoots and he scores, and Nathan Dyer, who scored in the reverse fixture back in match day 1 in Austria against Admiral Vaca, scores once again against the Austrians and puts us back on level terms to score his 4th goal, or is it 3rd goal? I think it might actually be 3rd goal in the Europa League group stage, his 4th goal overall this season. Nathan Dyer is fantastic in Europe, I've got to tell you that much, man. Seriously, I did not see this coming, but Dyer would have finished, puts us back on level terms, no less than we deserved heading into the dressing room. In the second half, he had a couple of chances to win the game as well. Once again, Dyer at the heart of everything, finds Van der Broek, but unfortunately in this game, the goalkeeper for Admiral Vaca was just on one. You know those games you play in FIFA where you create multiple chances, some really nice build-ups and good shots on goal, but the goalkeeper is just having an absolute weldy. This was one of those games, man. We just could not beat the goalkeeper who was on fire. The final chance fell 20 minutes to go. Jeremy Martin played through, still looking for his first goal of the season, Martin, but denied once again by a fabulous save, and that was how the game finished. Final score, Southampton 1, Admiral Vaca 1. No wins in our last 3 games in all competitions, but we couldn't have played better how we tried, really. It was a really great game. 11 shots, 6 on target, 60% possession, but Manuel Coutinho, he was our arch nemesis in that game. Save after save after save. Gives Admiral Vaca the point, and of course it doesn't matter for them, they can't qualify now after Olympiacos beat Rosenborg in match day 5, but for us it does mean heading to Greece we still need to pick up a point, otherwise we could finish in second place. If Olympiacos beat us in Greece in match day 6, then they will be going through as group winners. We have to at least get a point, and that will secure top spot. So we're almost there, but anyway, the draw in the end does basically nothing for us. We still know it's the same scenario heading into the final game of the group. But for the thing that comes next, check out this. We had a scouting update here, and anyone recognise this guy? Anyone recognise this guy? Rob McDonald, the ginger lad. I was very tempted to give him an academy scholarship for the fact he looks exactly like Rob McDonald in FIFA 17 with St Johnstone, but his potential's not good enough. We had to let him go. However, one Scottish player does look very good is Jack Ross, a goalkeeper there. Hopefully he'll be as good as Logan Reed was in our club and country back in FIFA 17. Looks very decent. And yeah, but that's so crazy. Rob Hamilton, for those that watch my club and country say with St Johnstone back in FIFA 17, he looked exactly like Hamilton did. And I think they were the same height as well. It's crazy, man. But I didn't give him an academy scholarship. But however, Jack Rostow, the goalkeeper, check him out in the academy. He looks fantastic. And of course, don't forget, we've got Cedric, our new number 1 for this season from the academy. But from next season onwards, Angus Gunn will be gone due to the homegrown ruling. So because of that, we'll need a backup goalkeeper. Ross is going to be the guy. 17 years old, 65 rated already, with 71-94 potential. We don't give him a pro deal today, but we'll certainly get one come the end of the season at least. Sorry, later. latest, and he looks very good indeed. Already 65 rated at 17 years old. He and Cedric will be vying for the #1 shirt for many years to come at St Mary's, I'm sure. But for the second game of 4 in today's episode, we travel away from home to the Vitality Stadium to take on Bournemouth as we're going in search of our first victory since the Rosenborg match 4 games ago. And Bournemouth, of course, under Eddie Howe. Bit of a rivalry this one, Southampton versus Bournemouth, both on the South Coast. Always a fun matchup in the Premier League. And as we go and take them on here, this is one of those games where it was like the polar opposite of what you just saw. In the last game against Admiral Vaca, everything was going according to plan. We just couldn't score any goals, other than the one we got through Nathan Dyer in the first half. But in this game, we got absolutely dominated in the first half, and I was just powerless to resist. It was one of those games where I think I mentioned before, it feels like, when you go into the game, EA have increased the difficulty without you knowing, because I just could not stop Bournemouth in the first half, man. 15 minutes in, it's Brooks that gives the Cherries the lead and makes it 1-0. No less than they deserve after a really good start. Munir plays him through, Brooks takes aim, and poor old Cedric, he hasn't kept a clean sheet in a while now, but all the goals that Cedric concedes, he can't do anything about. What a wonderful curling effort into the top corner. And Bournemouth take a deserved lead just 15 minutes in. But like I mentioned a moment ago, we were just powerless to resist in the first half. It was all Bournemouth. We were basically penned in our own half for the entirety of the first half. Could not get a ball clear. And as Ruben Loftus-Cheek found some space here, he rolled it into Munir, who got the assist for the first goal and scores the second. 2-0 to Bournemouth, and we were just looking all at sea. 23 minutes in, I was thinking, if we get to half-time and it's not 5-0, we'll take it, But we almost got back in the game just before the break, actually. Ward-Prowse's corner was delivered to Gareth Bale, and the Welshman heads the ball onto the post there as it almost snuck in. So it's still 2-0, but the stats were pretty damning in the first half. 57% possession for Bournemouth, 7 shots, 4 on target. We were getting dominated, but in the second half we did have a chance to get back in the game. Bale found Collins, defended it through to Theo Walcott, and what a welcome sight this was. With 22 minutes to go, I was going to celebrate, but then remembered we still had time to get back in the game and come back from 2 goals down to claim ourselves a point. Theo Walcott, well documented, mentioned it so many times this season, hadn't scored a single goal until now. Smashed it past our former goalkeeper Alex McCarthy, makes it 2 on his first of the year, but sadly the goal comes in vain, because that is how the game finishes. No wins in our last 4 games for Southampton, 2 defeats in our last 4 as well. Bournemouth get the victory, but as you can see with the stats come full time, they thoroughly deserved it. 9 shots, 6 on target, 57% possession. We could not get the ball off them for the most part, with 92% pass accuracy, and they thoroughly deserved the 3 points there. One of those games where, I always say when I present the highlights for YouTube, I always do them very, very fairly, completely unbiased, always present the game as it was played. And there are some games where I can say, do you know what, we're unlucky there, we're unlucky, the stats lied a little bit. Not in that game, man, definitely not in that game. We deserved to lose, and we definitely did. But for the third of 4 games today, it will be the final Premier League game of today's episode. The final game is the final game of the Europa League group stage, as we would welcome Nuno's Wolves, who will come and take us on here. Of course, now their second season in the Premier League after being promoted last year in real life. They'll come and take us on here. Obviously, Wolves got a great team, lots and lots and lots of young talent. So always a fun game against Wolves in career mode due to the young talent they have, watching them develop as the years go by. But the first chance fell towards just 5 minutes in. Renato Sanchez played into Bonatini, who flicked it down to Diego Jota, who was denied by Cedric, going for his first clean sheet in quite some time as he made the save there and kept it at 0-0. And just for the break, a chance for us to take leads. Oxlade Chamberlain found Ward-Prowse down the right hand side. He waited for the overlap of the Ox. He picked him out of the back heel. Chamberlain crossed the ball into the centre, and I can't believe this, man, but seriously, where has this guy been all season long? Last season, one of our top scorers, despite arriving in January, scored a hat-trick on his debut for Southampton since coming back, and now he's got 2 in 2 after not scoring for the entire season. Theo, seriously, mate, about time he turned up. Gets his head to the ball after Chambers crossed the middle, but to be fair, Rui Patricio will want that one back. The Portuguese goalkeeper comes to the ball, gets nowhere near it, and Theo says, cheers for that one, Rui. That's the easiest goal I'll score all season long. So 1-0, Walcott puts us in front as we take the lead. Tried to get ourselves in front, double our lead in the second half. 7 minutes after the restart, Gareth Bale played through once again as Patricio equal to it as he kept the score at 1-0. But to be honest, in this game, despite Wolves starting off very well, we were looking really, really strong, especially when going forward. The build-up play was really nice. A second goal was on the cards, and as Sermon found Nathan Redmond, he stepped inside. And honestly, man, I can't believe this, but it's typical, isn't it? Theo Walcott and Nathan Redmond, our 2 top scorers of last season, hadn't scored a single goal between them all all season long, and now they've got our last 3 combined. Redmond gets his first goal of the season. You can see the relief on his face there as he jumped onto the advertising hoardings. Finally, Nathan Redmond, he just needs to see his bro score. As soon as Theo scored, he said, you know, if Walcott can do it, so can I. I'll find the back of the net once again for the first time this season and make it 2-0 to the Saints. You can see the relief, man. Nathan overjoyed there as he made it 2-0. As we were closing out our first Premier League win since the Arsenal game and our first clean sheet in God knows how long in the Premier League. Well, unfortunately, with 2 minutes to go, I made a glaring error. Wolves came forward, Chamberlain trips his man up, and it's a definite penalty. Absolutely no complaints about that one. I was a little bit nervous here, just trying to see out the clean sheet. I wanted another one for Cedric. Definite penalty. Chamberlain trips his man up, and a chance for Wolves to at least to a half deficit and at least grab a consolation goal, if not a late fight back. So last time Cedric had to try and save a penalty against Manchester United against Romelu Lukaku. He went the right way, but couldn't save it. But this time, he makes the save. He guesses the right way once again, and this time gets his gloves to the ball, denies João Moutinho, and Cedric is going to get his first clean sheet in quite a few games. Absolutely buzzing after I made the mistake and gave away the penalty. And through that we broke. A nice counter by Southampton. Gareth Bale turns Bastos, steps inside, but sadly can't score his first goal in quite a few games. The shot easily caught by Patricio, and that was how the game finished. So final score, Southampton 2, Wolves 0. Cook absolutely delighted, another clean sheet for the boys at the back, and Redmond, of course, very pleased, getting his first goal of the season. It was quite a balanced game, you know, both teams played pretty well. I thought we were slightly better than Wolves, but for Cedric, had to give him the man of the match for saving the penalty. It's always nice when you have a youth goalkeeper and he saves his first penalty for you in professional football, and the fact that one preserved the clean sheet and his first clean sheet in a while was really, really nice as well. He's still odds-on favourite to win the Golden Boot, let's just say to win the Golden Glove even right now. He's now got 8 clean sheets in 15 games, but yeah, good save there. Good win for Southampton, and pleased to get our first win in the Premier League in quite some time as well.
The ticket is already stamped for the knockout phase, but can they claim top spot and perhaps a favourable draw? It's coming up on EA TV.
And for the fourth and final game of today's episode, it would indeed be the final game of the Europa League group stage, as we would take on Olympiacos away in Greece. And of course, as we mentioned at the start of the episode, coming into the game, as we know, after Olympiacos beat Rosenborg, we would have to prevent them from getting the win tonight in order to finish top of the table. If Olympiacos beat us here in Greece, they would leapfrog us, go into first place, and we would drop to second. Of course, it didn't really matter. Both teams had already guaranteed qualification. Regardless, we still wanted to make sure we would get the job done, finish top, and not fail to win our final 2 games. But either way, it was a terrible first half. Absolutely nothing to report in the first half. We were a totally weakened side once again, just like against Adam Ravaka, as had already qualified. That's the most important thing. But in the second half, Olympiacos really went for it. They need to win the game, of course, don't forget. And Fat Cedis goes for goal there, but Gunn makes the save and keeps it goalless. With 4 minutes to go, we'd barely attacked in the game at all. For the most part, we were conserving energy. It was a weakened team out there, but there was very little at stake for us. With 3 minutes to go, we attacked down left-hand side. Callum Rops out the academy, beats his man, crosses the far post, and at the back stick is Michael Obafemi, totally unmarked. We gave him a contract extension at the end of last season, as he was out of contract in the summer. We decided to reward him, give him a new deal, and keep him here at the club instead of letting him go into the free agents pool. And I'm glad we did. He scores his first goal of the series, and it turned out to be a game winner in the final game of the Europa League group stage. Obviously, it didn't really matter either way. Had he headed that ball into Rose Ed, would not have mattered. We'd still be top in the group, as we avoided defeat here away against Olympiacos in Greece. However, it's still nice to win, and in the end, it's kind of funny. I discussed Olympiacos in this group as the ones that we probably have most difficulty against. In the end, they were the only team out of the other 3 we faced that we beat both times, both home and away. We drew with Ravaka and beat them. We drew with Rosenborg and beat them. But against Olympiacos, we beat them both times. But either way, we are through, top of the group, and Olympiacos will join them, will join us, I should say, in second place too. But that was today's episode of the Homegrown Career Mode, guys. A big thank you for watching. I hope you have enjoyed it. And if you have, then please drop a like. Much love, and I'll see you for the next episode very soon.